Welcome, everybody, to the Cincinnati Bengals weekly show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. As always, the Grueling Truth Sports Network is brought to you by betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding an online sportsbook or casino that's right for you. Make sure you check them out at betting.net. We're the Cincinnati Bengals weekly show. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. My other host, former Cincinnati Bengal linebacker. We'll call him a legend, Joe Kelly. How you doing, Joe?
It's been better days, man. It's been better days here, man, in Bengal Nation. We've had our hopes up high, Super Bowl, and unfortunately, we haven't been ready. I mean, it's that simple. I think I'm prepared. Uh, it's some bad play calling, and it's some bad playing. But at the end of the day, I think the difference between past years and this year is a fact, despite how bad we played and as bad as situations that we put ourselves in, we've been in situations in both games. We put ourselves back in a situation to win the game. So, my thing is, okay, is there something positive that I can find from this? It's the fact that here both games went down to the wire. We did put ourselves in position to win, and we should have won both games. But we're not starting off like we should. And there's a lot of factors, Mike. You see, I can tell you plainly and clearly, I see that we're not in football shape. We're not in condition. I've seen guys coming off and asking to come out off the field in the first drive. That's as big as an indicator as you get.
There, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, you cut out for about 15 seconds there. So,
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So, like I said, it goes down. I think it goes down to preparation. We're not prepared. We're not in shape. We got to get in football shape. But I do still think that uh, we do have the players to be able to compete at a high level. But in the same time, in the same breath, just because you have that talent, don't always mean that they're going to result in wins. And right now, we've had two consecutive losses and against two teams that should have won. And we've put ourselves behind the gun right now. So we're putting ourselves and digging a hole, and hopefully we can get a win today and put some wins together in order to get the thing back on track.
yeah, and really, when you look at the offensive line, I think the interior of the offensive line is okay, guard to guard. The issue is Jonah Williams and Leo Collins right now. And then you hear that Leo Collins didn't practice yesterday because of his back again, which is what kept him from suiting up for such a long time in the preseason. The tackle has to be a huge worry because if you don't have tackles, it's hard to get the ball to the skill position players.
Yeah, if you don't have tackles in the NFL, you will not have a successful offense. It's too much
Especially
talent.
when TJ Watt and Micah Parsons are your first two players you got to play against.
Well,
You better
yeah.
be able to have some tackle.
I mean, it doesn't get easy. There's teams out there with some great defensive tackles. So we're going to face that. At the end of the day, here, if you line up all the teams that we have to play, they have D tackles, they have outside linebackers, defensive ends that can rush the passer. So we need to figure out what it is. If Collins is the guy that he may be better suited at the interior, that would help us out. Right now, I would say the only thing that is set right now is our center and our guard. Rookie guard, he's shown he needs a lot of improvement. Jonah Williams needs a hell of a lot of improvement. And Collins is he's not healthy. He's not playing like we are expecting him to. And in this league, man, you have to be in shape. There's nobody. I don't care how good you are, man. Anthony Munoz played in the preseason. Anthony Munoz, we went live some series in training camp. So Lyle Collins, none of those guys are good enough to say I'm not going to practice.
My favorite training camp story would be 1982 the first training camp. I think it was at Wilmington College. I was there. And I remember it was after the goal line stand where the Bengals got stopped in Super Bowl 16. Forrest
Mhm.
Gregg brought the guys out. They stretched for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then he took them to the goal line. And for the next hour, they ran goal line offense against goal line defense at full speed. And I mean, these guys were trying to kill each other. And I
What?
mean, times have changed, Joe. Let's
Yeah, trying to change. That's but that was Forrest Gregg. I know Reggie Williams told me the story. They came in and after one game, I, I think they lost. I can't recall exactly what game it was, and they lost and didn't go to playoffs or something. And Forrest Gregg came in there uh, after the game, walked in the locker room, just looked at everybody, didn't have a speech. He just said, "Have a happy effing Christmas," and he left. you know, So there's some Forrest Gregg stories, man. But at the end of the day, I can tell you one thing: Forrest Gregg team, and just like any team in this league, physically you're prepared to play. Right now, physically we have not been prepared to play. We just getting out physical. Our conditioning level is not at a high because our guys can play at a high level. We've seen that. So now, back years, Mike, we've been doing this for years, man. So we were never confident enough to say we had the players to compete because we didn't. So now when you look at, is there room for improvement? Yes. Can we get a couple more offensive linemen again? Yes. Is there room for improvement? In a couple areas, yeah. Hey, another powerful defensive lineman could we got Logan Wilson. He's a stud. Could that other outside linebacker be a little better? So, but it could. But that's not keeping us from competing against the top two teams because we played them last year and we beat them. But it goes down. I know you've never been a huge advocate and fan of Zach, and his play calling.
You
And
mean Opie? I like to call him Opie.
And right now it's showing. It's showing right now the fact that here in 2 consecutive games we come out and in the first half we played like complete shit. Period. Point blank. We have not been in shape. We have
And
not
that's
been
coaching
prepared.
because that's you.
It is.
That's you game planning for a week. They're game
Yeah.
planning for a week against you, and we get our ass kicked every time.
Right.
That's
Right.
coaching.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, right now, in New York, I know they're at practice right now, and they're licking their chops. They're looking at their chops, and they're seeing the pressure that both teams have been putting on Joe Burrows, and they are devising schemes to do the same thing. So it's not going to be. You're going to have to stop it. So where it is, I don't know if Dallas and their second half defensively, if they change schemes, and you get a lot of coaches in this league. We always talk about the coaching positions are filled with nepotism, and then you have guys who want to be the smartest coaches, the gurus, rather than Dallas. If I was Dallas, I would have continued to do the same damn thing. They haven't stopped it. You can't block it. So you got, well, hey, they're going to do this, and maybe they're going to do this, and now here you don't rush Michael Parsons as much, and you try and do things. Why? I mean, it's like Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl. Here, I'm going to outsmart you. Rather than running, putting beast mode and giving them the ball, and letting New England stop them 4 times. I mean, it's you get it. The Bengals in the Super Bowl to 82. You give the ball to Big Pete. I'm gonna tell San Fran, I'm gonna run Pete 4 times, and I'm running him behind Anthony Munoz. Stop me 4 times in a row. Let's go.
Well, they did 3 times.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, you
got
got another
one
play.
Pass in there.
But
then they threw the pass to Charles Alexander, but Charles Alexander ran the route short of the goal line.
Short of the same thing that Tyler Boyd did. There's no play in football that you come out and it's 3rd and 2.5, 3rd and 2, and it calls for you to run a 1 yard route. He in those cases, I played with some really good receivers, and talking to some wide receivers. Ira Hillary after the game. You run sticks. You run to the sticks. The sticks are the down. You run to the sticks, and quarterback gives you the ball. If he you get tackled immediately, you're still at first. Your momentum have already taken you to where you got the first down. He shortened the route, which was all on Tyler Boyd. It wasn't Burrows. It wasn't a call. It was on Tyler Boyd. You got to run to the sticks. Period. Here at the end of the day,
what I do know about that though, real quick, Joe,
yeah,
is my guess is you could say that's not on the coaches, but my guess is if he's running that short, that's damn near muscle memory from practice. And my guess is he's allowed to run it like that in practice.
I mean, I don't know if I'm
I
going to go
just
that far.
I don't take Zach Taylor as a hard nosed coach, which is what bothers me.
Yeah, and well, I mean that, and at the end of the day, he's never going to be a hard nosed coach. He is who he is. You can't change your spots. He is who he is. He coaches the way.
But you can change the coach.
Well,
to get one that already got the right spots.
He bought himself for years. Period. With that Super Bowl appearance, and you're playing for the Browns. This is not Philly, where here you win a Super Bowl and then 2 years later you're fired. You're going to the Super Bowl. He's going to be here. He would have to do atrocious. We can go 8-8. He's not going to get fired. We can go. It's 17 games now. 8-9. He can stay about 500. He's not going to get fired. That's not the the Browns organization. But at the end of the day, it is in Zach's hands to not get to the playoffs, and be Super Bowl contenders, because he's put some stuff in your hands. So whether or not you want to come in and you want to toy with the offensive line, here you look at, because even Copa and the other guy, Karras, those guys have played different positions. I don't know if you come back and you sign. I don't know if what was our starting center last year? I don't know if he signed with somebody. You bring him back and you put those guys. You spread those guys back out. I don't know. You have to do something, because what's right now is not working. You definitely can't. When you're getting sacked 5 times in one half, that's an alarm. And it's just as alarming, unfortunately, as it was last year, which is unfortunate, because I thought, at this point in time, man, that we would be superiorly better than we were last
and we're worse.
Year.
The offensive line looks worse, if that's possible.
Yeah, I didn't think it was humanly possible to look as bad as the Hart offensive line days. The Bobby.
He's on pace. He's on pace to be sacked 111 times.
And that's insane.
And if it happens, he won't be sacked 111 times, because he's going to be out and Brandon Allen's going to be the quarterback before you get to that.
It would be over for our season. Period. Without Joe Burrow, we are a second-tier team.
Yeah, and the thing is the Jets rallied last week to beat the Cleveland Browns 31-30. The Jets do not have near the talent the Bengals have, but the one thing the Jets do have is they have what I think is a tough coach in Sale. I think he's a really good football coach.
I do too.
And my concern here is this. The Bengals should win this game, but I haven't seen anything that tells me they're ever going to get off to a good start. And if they were to fall behind this Jets team, they're going to lose this game, because this Jets team is coming off a huge high of the down 30-17, less than 2 minutes left, win the game. Only the second team to do it in the last 10 years. Both times the team that got beat by it was the Cleveland Browns, so we've always got that. But if this is a slow start, put it like this: I think whoever scores the first touchdown in this game wins the game.
And when you look at that, because when you look at here, so if the Jets score, you look at, okay, here, our momentum from what we did last week. Okay, now here we're walking around with a little swag. We're playing with a little swag. And when you look at Bengals, here we played horribly each first half of both games, and now we come out and we score first. Now we're saying, okay, now let's get back, and we got a little more confidence. So observation is pretty good. But it's still going to come down to conditioning. It's still going to come down to play calling. We have the players. Our players are more talented than their players are. When you go position by position. But like you said, here is Robert Saleh going to have those guys better prepared, better conditioned, obviously those guys here, coming back the way they came back last week, condition wise, you have to, have in order to do that. So it's these guys, slightly half Flacco. Hell, last year they beat us with a guy that had I don't think he had played in 4 or 5 years, and he threw for 400 or 500
Yeah,
yards.
that was the Mike White guy, Mike White, he played so well against the Bengals that New York Jet fans actually wanted him to be the starter over Zach Wilson, and then he never had a game even close to that ever again.
Oh yeah, and that's wow, that sucks.
The biggest difference I see between this year and last year, I think the play calling was bad last year. It's bad this year. But the difference is the defense. The defense has played well, but the defense in this last game dropped at least 3 balls that should have been turnovers that last year they would have got, and we would have got points off of them. I think it was Mike Hilton, Jesse Bates, Sam Hubbard, all dropped at least 1, if not more. And I mean, truthfully, when you look at it, last year, that postseason run was driven by a defense that caused turnovers and a kicker who just didn't miss.
Yeah.
And we've still got the kicker that doesn't miss, but the defense is not getting the turnovers. They're still making the plays to get in position to make them, but they're not finishing the plays.
And you know what? I'm not down on the defense, but in this league, turnovers win games. We've played solid. When you look at our statistically speaking, we're not bad at all. We're keeping the opponent under a certain amount of yardage. But I think it's not just turnovers, Mike. It's also third down. We have to get our third down conversions, and then also eliminating the big play, 11-yard run, 11-yard run. But then you got, Pollard, the Dallas running back, on that play. I have no idea what Eli Apple was doing. He had force coming up, and you give up that, 40-yard, 50-yard run. Those are the plays you give up, on that run to the Super Bowl. So, when they I know they can defense and come out, they can look at film, and they have a lot to build off, Mike. They have, because they're in position, like I said, they're in position to make the plays. You just got to make the play. So defensively, I think we're going to do well against New York. I think we'll continue to keep Flacco, at bay. I don't see them having a receiver that's going to have a big day. I think we can control the running game, but it's going to be our offense. It's going to be our offense. At the end of the day, here, if they're continuing to get 3 and outs, it wears on the defense. You go out there and you kick, but you sit down and hey, punt team is up. What? And it's third quarter. Here you're playing, 70 plus plays. So that means your offense is not controlling the ball, man. So defensively, I think we are. And Beagle Nation needs to understand we are in a good place. Those turnovers will come. Keep running to the ball, keep hustling. Those turnovers will come. We have an emergency situation on the other side of the ball that could totally derail our season and be total Debbie Downer for all the hope that Bengal Nation has right now.
Yeah, and when we look at this, the defense played well last week, but they got dominated in every facet of the game the first 2 drives, which concerns me because that's game planning. And the offensive line, I mean, I don't know who's making the line calls or the decisions not to block Micah Parsons off the edge. That seemed a little stupid to me. And then T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, to me, it's perplexing that you have an inability to protect your passer. And you've got these 2 guys that are great when it comes to hitting them with quick passes that can kind of negate that pass rush, and they don't use them.
It goes back to play calling because right now we have a core of receivers. We have a running back. These guys are, Jamar Chase, Higgins, they're not even in their prime. Mixon is right in his prime. Tyler Boyd's right in his prime. So you couldn't get a better scenario from where our guys are at professionally and physically. It's about being able to get them the ball. So like I said here, they could rush Michael Parsons. They could blitz this guy, that guy. Here I'm hitting 83, on a quick slant. Here on I'm throwing some pop passes to Higgins. And now you not only you're going to slow those down, you're going to start bringing them. Those safeties are going to start creeping down. Those corners are going to start biting on those routes. Boom! Now you run a 9 route. We have to be able to stretch the field. But in order to stretch the field, you have to have those crossing routes that Boyd it has been great over in his career. And like you said, and I don't know if he's afraid to call those because he knows that he's not going to get the protection. So here, am I making calls? Are we on the headsets in the games and saying, well, hey, I want to call this play, but hell, I don't think our guys can block these guys. Bring a guy in the chip. The tight end's not worth a damn right now anyway. Help him. Help. Help.
Well, Drew Sample is out now, so he won't be able to miss blocks anymore. And my other thing is this. I mean, why not? Hayden Hurst is a pretty good receiver. He's athletic. Yeah. Why not run him down a seam every once in a while?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when you look at Dallas was in cover 2. They were in cover 2 a lot, man. And here you got number 3 up the seam. Number 3 up the seam. He can catch that pass. He caught a couple passes, I believe, last game. But you have to be able to, because if you're catching him, you have him going, especially a team that was played as much cover 2 as Dallas was playing. Here because they don't want to single. They don't want to go out and single Higgins and Jamar Chase. But you got to make them play honest. You got to okay. We're having problems here. Let's do some quick hitches. Let's do some quick pops. Let's go up the seam. And let's start getting them on their heels. There's calls that you can make in order to offset when you are in that situation.
And this is the concern though, because the Pittsburgh Steelers played a ton of cover 2 too and shut down this Bengals offense for the most part. And we saw last year. We saw cover 2 gave the Kansas City Chiefs trouble during the season. It turned Tyreek Hill into a possession receiver.
Yeah. I'm going to say you can defensively, cover 2. That's why everybody uses it. It can be effective, but cover 2 you can beat cover 2. You know what I mean? If
you can't unless you call the plays to beat cover 2.
Yeah, you can beat cover 2. You know what I mean? Cover 2 is a solid defense, but you can beat cover 2. And then there's I don't care. There's not a corner in football that can cover Chase. There's not a corner in football that can cover Chase, at all. And he's getting numbers. He's getting numbers from a horrible playing horrible line play, and he's getting numbers. So I know those guys. I know Higgins and Tyler Boyd. I know they're chomping at the bit, man. They want to get going because they have wide receiver. I've never played with a wide receiver against a wide receiver that didn't have an ego. All wide receivers have an ego. Those guys want the ball, and I'm hoping that
Pee Wee football receivers have egos.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we can get these guys the ball, man, and get these guys back, in the game plan because they have not totally been in the game plan at all, and as a result.
Well, the other thing I've noticed that they're doing is it's not a straight cover 2 that's beating the Bengals. What it is a cover 2. And then a lot of times what I saw the Steelers do and the Cowboys do also is they inverted the cover 2 and blitzed out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that is giving issues also. Yeah. I mean, hopefully the Bengals coaches know that. I mean, national media and everything, all you read is you're getting beat by cover 2. It's not really a straight cover 2 because a straight cover 2 is not going to work in the NFL because a straight cover 2, you can eat it up in the middle of the field at like 10 yards. But when they invert that, and you're bringing your corners as the deep guys, the safeties are coming up, you're blitzing, it gives a completely different look to confuse the quarterback. But even if the quarterback's not confused, it gives a completely different look to possibly confuse the wide receivers and the running backs also.
Yeah, when you have that, even when they invert, here those out routes are open. You're going to do a down, out, and up. When that corner is inverting and that corner is going deep, here that outside linebacker has to get out. He has to get out to the flats. So there are spots you can take advantage
Yeah.
an inverted cover two or
And
your
to
mixed
me,
cover
it's the
two.
tight end, though, because you could run the outs, but by running the out, then you force them to take an inside linebacker to cover Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, yeah, man, oh man. So when you look at talent wise, it's hard to say that any defense has the ability to cover all of our guys. I don't see that. But in the same time, we have to at least be able to do a three-step drop without Joe getting hit.
Yeah.
Or it
And
doesn't
and
matter. We
right
got to be
now,
able to do a three-step
I
drop.
think it's almost our play callers that are covering our receivers.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. And you can kind of see the frustration. I look at,
Yeah.
I'm a big at looking at guys' demeanor. I'm looking at how they're
Yeah.
walking back to
Body
the
language.
huddle.
Yeah.
How they're coming off the field. If they're wide open and they don't get the ball. So we have to start making plays, or that can make our whole season combustible, man. It's because you get it, and now guys are complaining. Here Higgins and Boyd, they haven't been targeted at all, really. Chase
No.
is getting his. Mixing, but here we got 25 put in the game. I mean, we have weapons at
Evans
tight
needs to
ends.
be in the game. We go say
Yeah,
that every week, and he's still
yeah,
not going to be in
yeah.
the game, I think. So,
So it's we don't have 3-4 games to change this. Because if we don't get started, I can tell you, man, that this whole season go awry.
yeah.
Because
This
there'll be
Jets
starting to be a
game,
lot of
this
finger
is a
pointing.
must win, Joe. They have to win this
You
game.
you have to, when you look at our schedule, you look at our teams, we have to beat the Jets. Period. Point blank. You go 0-3, unless everybody in the division loses again, which is, I don't think that's, likely. It can happen. But, here you go, you get a win, you get one or two of the other teams lose, and, and now you're back
But
in the
they
mix.
can't all lose, Joe, because the Browns and Steelers play tonight.
Yeah, so that's right. So one of them, one of them you can tie. You see what I'm saying? So, and hopefully Pittsburgh loses. But
I want Cleveland to lose. I'm more afraid of Cleveland when they get to Deshaun Watson than I am Pittsburgh,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
Pittsburgh's missing TJ Watt for 6 more
yeah,
weeks. And I think they're
yeah.
pretty inept without TJ Watt. Who the Ravens? The Ravens play at the Patriots. The Ravens will beat the hell out of the
Yeah,
Patriots. The
the
Patriots don't
Patriots
have
out there.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then we've
it's
got the Dolphins on a short week. That makes
and
this game even more important.
yeah, it makes it because and we're gonna have to be in shape because they stretch the field. With Tyreek and Waddle, they stretch the field, and our corners cannot run with those guys. There's no corners that can run with those guys. So our safeties have to be, Jesse was out of position. He was out of position four or five times. First touchdown, you're out of position. You look at that, but that's being in game shape. So here we're not gonna be able to be out of position a lot in the Miami Dolphin game, or we're gonna be getting hit with some 60, 70-yard plays against us.
All right, Joe, real quick before we get our picks for this week, betting.net finds the best promotions, offers, and bonus codes so you don't have to. Head over to their website now to take advantage of things like free bets and matching deposits. Check them out at betting.net. All right, Joe, the Bengals are favored by 4.5 in this game. Would you bet the Bengals to cover this?
Man, I'm not just going with my heart, man. I'm going with my head, and I'm gonna say we're gonna cover it. I see. I'm hoping there was some some fussing in that room.
There wasn't from Zach Taylor as my
Well,
guess,
no,
but
no,
go ahead.
no. But those guys, there's some leaders on that team, and at some point in time, man, you have to say, okay, this is not acceptable. Here, I'm not ever going in and talk about a guy not playing well. I'm going to worry about myself. I'm going to try to lead by example. I'm going to give everything that I can give. If that's energy, whatever I need for this team to win, that's what I'm going to do. And they got to rally together and get back to a position, where they left off last year. Or we can be looking at, be looking at a potential, team not even making the playoffs again.
Yeah, we've seen
Mm,
that a few times. All right, I'm going to take I think the Bengals win the game. I think
yeah,
it's 24-17. They better win the game is all I
yeah,
can say,
yeah,
because if not, shit's going to go off the rails. You go
yeah,
if you have lost in 3 straight weeks to Mitch Trubisky, Cooper Brush, and an old Joe Flacco. I mean, this isn't
yeah.
Joe Flacco from
No,
2012. That was a hell
no.
of a quarterback.
Yeah,
This is an old Joe Flacco.
this is an old guy.
So
Yeah,
with the schedule they've got, you cannot afford to lose to the
no,
Steelers, the
mm,
Jets, and the Cowboys. You
no,
just can't. I
you
mean, the
can't.
worst
Yeah.
this should have been was 2-1.
Mm.
Really, it should have been 3
We're
and
3
0.
and 0. Yeah, we were expecting 3 and 0. But it is where it is. We are. I think they can get off the snide this week. And with that short week, it's gonna be a lot better emotionally going into that short week with a win. Going into the short week 0-3. Now doubts are coming in. I don't care who you. We're all human. You're going to be looking at it now. You're going to be thinking about not playing and thinking about not making mistakes. If you get off the snide this week, man, and you get that victory under your feet, now you're back. Okay, let's go. Now we're
Hey,
ready
the
to
other
go.
thing, the other thing in the Bengals' advantage is this: they got to play the Dolphins on Thursday night on a short week, but the Dolphins this weekend host the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be an emotional game.
Oh yeah,
That's going to be something that's going to be hard to rebound from and play the next Thursday night. So I
yeah,
really believe if they get this win, I think they'll beat the Miami Dolphins. They'll beat 2-2, and everything
mm,
will be fine. But you got to get this one. All
we gotta
right,
get it.
Joe.
We gotta get it.
Joe, did I ever tell you now that you can head over and see for yourself? The betting.net makes it easy to find all the legal online casinos and sportsbooks in your state. Make sure you check them out at betting.net. All right. Anything we want to
Mm.
wrap it up with, Joe? Or are you ready to go?
Well, I'm saying, hey, Bingo Nation, man, don't. I know there's a little panic in the air, my man. You got to look in between the lines. We do have the players. I'm thinking that are hoping that they're going to get this O line play together, and those 3 guys that we brought in will turn into the leaders that we expect them to be. Um, and defensively, I think we're gonna, we've been in position that we're gonna plays. Those plays are. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. This is a patient league. This is a long season. Be patient. The defense can play. They're going to make plays. Those plays are going to start to happen. We just got to, if the passing ain't there, let's run the ball. We're capable of running the ball. You have a great tailback. We got some good guys coming off the bench, man. And so don't fret, man. I'm confident that we're going to go to New York, come out with a victory, man, and get this thing back rolling. Get this city back on fire. So we may be down, but I don't think we're out, Mike.
All right, Joe. You know I'm a
Right.
half-empty guy, and
I know,
see
yeah, I'm an
the
optimist, man.
advantage you have over me is, see, I was a Bengal fan from the day I was born in 1968 to
Mhm.
1986. You missed those 18 years of hell,
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
makes you a little
yeah,
bit more jaded.
yeah,
But yeah, I think this team is fully capable. I want to see Joe Burrow play the way Joe Burrow can play.
yeah,
Hopefully, we'll
yeah.
see that. We will be back next week, probably Tuesday night, I would
Tuesday night,
say, just because it's
yeah,
a Thursday
Thursday
night game. If that's
night
all right
game,
with
yeah,
you, Joe.
yeah,
We'll
so
get
good.
Ty Robbins back on here. Ty is a school teacher. He was at school today, so
Miss it, Ty.
uh, yes, Ty, we miss you. I miss his optimism and his smile when I
Yeah.
introduce him. But all right,
Okay.
guys, make sure
Okay.
you follow us on Twitter at grueling_truth. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out our Facebook page. But for now, for Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends